part of the chronic illness series.
If you guys don't know, we are going to go into an in-depth review and explain what our chronic health issues are. And not just what we have, but in general, what narcolepsy is, how Crohn's disease is, POTS, everything about it. I hope you guys enjoy this new series that we're doing.
So stay tuned. Crohn's disease. Yes, you guys. Paul's Crohn's, his baby Crohn's.
Don't judge me.
Let's get started, shall we? We have many more chronic illnesses that we do talk about and that we do go through. So check them out in the description box.
And again, guys, we know everyone says it to you. Please like, share, subscribe. It truly means a lot to us, and it really does help our channel get that much further, that much out there, so more and more people can find our channel and we can try to spread as much awareness as possible. Now, Crohn's disease is an autoimmune condition characterized by chronic inflammation of the digestive tract. Now, this occurs when the immune system mistakenly attacks the tissues in the gastrointestinal tract, causing inflammations and even deep sores known as ulcers. Crohn's disease is unique from other forms of irritable bowel disease because it may occur anywhere in the digestive tract from the mouth all the way up to your anus. It can be patchy in that it can affect multiple areas, one area, but then it doesn't have to affect one area next to the other. So your small and large intestine don't necessarily have to be affected at the same time. You can have your rectum and your mouth and nothing in between, or everything, or one of them. Now, an autoimmune disease is when your immune system attacks healthy cells in your body, and this ultimately causes inflammation. For me, with Crohn's disease, this happens in the digestive tract, obviously. This causes ulcers and can lead ultimately to colon cancer.
Inflammation may extend through the entire thickness of the bowel wall. About 60% of people in remission will have at least one relapse over the next 5 years. Crohn's can be hereditary. Up to 20% of people with Crohn's have a first-degree relative, parent, child, or sibling with IBD.
Don't judge. Now, it's also possible to contract Crohn's from an infection or a virus. Your immune system can have an abnormal response, and then it actually starts attacking the healthy cells in your digestive tract. Crohn's does affect men and women equally.
So don't let no one tell you otherwise, women out there. Yes, you can use the bathroom like men. Trust me.
Around 780,000 Americans are currently affected by Crohn's disease.
So once again, Crohn's can be hereditary. So we kind of figured it does pass down through Paul's family. But he was the #1 family member who got it very young.
I definitely got it the youngest in my family, as well as the most severe case. My grandfather had GI issues pretty much his entire life, but it wasn't ever something that really got in the way of his life. He just stayed away from certain foods, and he's like, I'm fine, you know, one of those old Italian men. My dad, similar situation. He knows that there are certain foods that he can't eat because it upsets his stomach, and he just steers away from it, and problem solved for him. For me, on the other hand, at 16 years old, it came in full force, and I couldn't have any type of food at all because I would go running to the bathroom and screaming in pain. Now, triggers for Crohn's disease, for me at least, are going to be certain types of food. Now, what most people consider healthy food, for me, actually causes me more pain and discomfort. I know for a fact spicy foods I can't have. That's perfectly fine, I can't have that. Foods that are hard to digest, so things that are fried, for example, harder to digest. Biggest thing, and is a lot of controversial subject, because people think, oh, just eat a salad, that's healthy for you. It's not healthy for me. Raw lettuce is harder to digest than something that is cooked. Raw fruits are harder to digest than something that is cooked. So something that I do actually have is cooked apples that my mom used to make, and Janice makes them for me every once in a while too. Those are easy because it's been broken down enough. Now obviously you don't get as much nutritional value, but it's easier for my stomach to digest that. And also a big trigger for me, which I know that, is stress. Anytime that I get really stressed out, my stomach goes on the fritz, I'm in horrible pain, I gotta go use the bathroom, and I've noticed that ever since I was a kid.
Another thing Paul forgot to mention, he has to actually stay away from any foods with a lot of acidity, such as tomatoes. We stay away from
oranges,
big time.
Tangerines, any kind of acidic foods obviously will upset it as well. Lactose, so milk, cheese, stuff like that. Like, don't get me wrong, can I have a glass of milk? Sure. And it may or may not affect me. It's still not the best idea. I always try to have lactose-free milk. I try to have very little cheese, and then you can also have, there's lactose-free cheese as well as hard cheeses. So cheddar is going to be easier than like a very creamy mozzarella. Still, I try to stay away from it as much as humanly possible.
So the symptoms with Crohn's disease is abdominal pain, belly tenderness, change in weight, fatigue, excessive bathroom use, blood in the stool, and diarrhea. Also guys, TMI. Crohn's can lead to many different types of complications, as well as complications from medications used to help treat these symptoms. Crohn's can lead to issues with arthritis, skin problems, eye problems, bone loss, lack of vitamin D, kidney, liver problems.
One issue can lead to a plethora of issues. So Crohn's is not just a very simple thing. It can actually be like the gateway to several different problems, as well as some of the medications that you have to take can lead to other major problems as well. Bone loss. I was on prednisone for many years. I had to do a DEXA scan to check the density of my bones. These are things that are secondary to Crohn's, but still go along with Crohn's disease. Another thing is some other medications that I take put me at a higher risk for skin cancer. There's so many different things that come from it, and it's crazy that you would think one simple diagnosis of Crohn's disease, oh, it's simple to eat, to manage, just don't eat certain things. Actually, no. It changes your life forever. It truly does.
Now when it comes down to Crohn's disease, I was with Paul during that ride
That
of
sucked.
him getting diagnosed. Yes, we've been together since high school.
Mm-hmm.
So
High school sweetheart.
to get a diagnosis, you could get blood work, stool samples, image scans such as a CT or MRI, small bowel pill camera. Most common way and most effective is colon and endoscopy. This allows the doctor to collect samples and biopsies to do further testing and to get a baseline to know how truly bad you are with your Crohn's.
Crohn's disease is not like a definitive yes or no testing. It's kind of, you have to hit certain criteria for it, so it's more of a clinical diagnosis. It is something that there's a lot of workup involved into it. They're going to start with the most simple things: blood work, stool sample, and then do maybe a CT scan, MRI. It builds up from there, and I have to go through all of these, and it's not a short adventure. It's not a short thing to do. It takes months, and it can take up to a year or so, because things, scheduling, maybe you have worse symptoms now, not as much later. Definitely always advocate for yourself. If you're not feeling well, you have to call, you have to push for it, because at the end of the day, you're the one who's suffering and in pain and going to the bathroom 5 to 6 times in the morning, like me. Now, there is no cure or procedure to fix the problem. It's mostly managing symptoms and trying to maintain remission. Now, depending on the person, the treatment can be something very light or it can be very intense. You can start with stuff like steroids, antibiotics, and acid reflux medications. Immune system modifiers are another class of medications that you can start taking, and these medications do take months to work. I had to take one that was called Humira, and my doctor told me, this is something that you're not going to see any benefits from it for months. But eventually you will get there. And again, every person's different. Those are the kind of beginning phases of treatments. From there, you can go into something more intense, which are biological medications. Biologic medications are going to be stuff like Remicade, Humira, Entyvio. Those medications have so many complications along with themselves that it's not even funny. You can develop anaphylactic reactions to these medications. Your body can just completely reject them and never take them at all, as well as the secondary effects of these medications. For example, higher risk of skin cancer, bone density, all these types of things. Ultimately, you could have to have part of your GI tract removed through surgery. Some people respond well to medications, such as I did. Early on, that was perfectly fine, and that's where my doctors did. We did what's called step therapy. One thing at a time. Okay, this is not working, let's do another step, let's do another step. He wanted to have me on the bare minimum medication possible. And that worked for me for many, many years, almost 10 years. Now we're trying to see the next step. There was actually a kid in my GI office that none of the medications worked for him. He just had to go straight to surgery and remove part of his large intestines.
Yes.
Thankfully, he didn't have to have like a colostomy bag or anything like that, but the problem areas were removed and he actually reached remission and didn't have to do anything else after that. But that's an extreme case, you know, and some people that may not even work, or they have to remove so much of your intestines that you're gonna have to have a colostomy bag, and there's more complications from that as well.
So for people with GI issues, you go to a gastroenterologist. They are the #1 people you want to definitely get checked out when you get a tummy issue.
There's also specialized GI doctors. So for example, I have my GI doctor. I've been seeing her for a few years. I absolutely love her. But then she referred me to see a more advanced specialist among GI doctors. And that's perfectly fine. And this is a whole thing of amongst all of them, they can come up with a right plan for me. Now, Crohn's disease affects me in a lot of ways. #1, pain. A lot of mid and lower abdominal pain. Weight change, you can drop very quickly, very rapidly. Medications that you take can also make you gain weight. Definitely excessive use of the bathroom. Like on my good days, I can go once or twice. On a bad day, you're looking at anywhere from 5 to like 15 times. It just totally depends. It definitely can cause hemorrhoids from the excessive use of using the bathroom and being on the toilet. It is extremely stressful not being able to enjoy food, because that's like a big thing. Me and Janice love to go out to eat, love to explore and, you know, be adventurous with our food, and there's a lot of things that I can't eat. It's really kind of stressful, but at the same time, if I do eat it, then it's just going to cause me even more pain and agony in the end, so I try not to do that. The biggest thing was at the beginning when I did not have this under control. Any kind of family get-together, any kind of family outing, if there's any kind of food there, anything would set me off and I'd have to go to the bathroom. You know, it could be as simple as just taking a bite of a chip or a piece of bread, bathroom. And it sucks, especially if you're in a public place and in a restaurant which you don't really feel comfortable or it's not clean. So definitely that took a toll on me, both physically and mentally.
So once again, me and Paul have been together since high school. And I will not lie, when he first started going through all this, he kind of sat me down and was just like, "Are you sure you want to deal with all this?" Because I'm not kidding, guys. For junior year, he was pretty non-existent. Like
I missed half of the school year.
Yeah, just how bad it was. That isn't what made it hard. What made Crohn's hard for us was, on my end, the constant use of the bathroom. Yeah. I'm not kidding, guys. Before we would go on a date, he would be like, "Hey, I have to use the bathroom," and that could have been an hour. And I will not lie, sometimes I lost my cool and was just like, "Why? Hurry up in there!" Now, mind you guys, if he is on the bathroom for too long of periods, that can affect him negatively as well.
Of course.
So that's why I'm also rushing him too, because it's gonna help him in the future. So for any of you caretakers out there dealing with someone with Crohn's, I mean, maybe just having a hard time going on dates, having appointments, because we were late to a lot of things, and it was hard at times, I will not lie, but I have learned, because when I got my intestinal infection a couple months ago, they told me, they're like, "That's how Crohn's feels." Guys,
yeah.
I have never, if you think a tummy ache is similar to Crohn's pain, no. No. I mean, I kind of understood what he went through when I had to go through that pain.
It feels like someone's beating you with a bat over and over and over again.
Now, I will not lie, the amazing thing of being a caretaker for someone with Crohn's, your relationship is going to be like this. like
Very tight.
very tight. Because I helped him with a lot of things young. Like he had to do stool samples. So imagine boyfriend and girlfriend, senior, junior year, and he's like, I can't do it. I'm in a lot of pain. So I was like, okay, got you. I got you, boo.
I love it when someone says, oh, you have acid reflux problems too? So do I. It's not a big deal.
No. Guys, his acid reflux, it's really bad.
I have to take 2 different types of medications twice a day in order to keep it under control. It can get so bad that I start vomiting and I end up having to go to the hospital from it, and I have to get IV medication because then I'll take the pills and I just throw everything back up.
Yeah.
Also, people go, oh, so Crohn's disease, it's like having a stomach ache, right? Again, yes, it's like having a stomach ache if someone's constantly stabbing you and beating you with a bat. And it's this like internal pain churning, and there's no relief from it. You go to the bathroom and you get like 30 seconds of relief, you're like, okay, oh god, it's coming back. And that's literally how it is. So that's what I deal with. A lot of people go, oh, it's not a big deal till you have suffered it.
Alright guys, I am excited that we were able to educate you guys on so much more with Crohn's. There's going to be so many more videos about our chronic illnesses coming your way, so stay tuned. So guys, for now, adieu and goodbye!